fine with that.
We're live. Thank you very much for joining us again. Elias Monsha here on TV Bakwetu. We're going to ask you to spread the word around because right now we have Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, and he is coming to us live from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And the reason why we want to talk about what is happening in Ethiopia is, as you have noticed today, there was a plane that landed in Lusaka, bringing back on our soil, on Zambian soil, citizens of Zambia being rescued from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where we understand that the situation is pretty volatile. And so we want to ask you to spread the word around because Ambassador Mwamba is going to be talking to us a little bit about what is going on, sharing how our some Zambians that are still in Ethiopia, if any, can stay safe, and the situation in general, and all that. And so we felt this was important, but also important that our people in Zambia remain updated with what is going on, because every Zambian matters. So please share this feed with as many people as possible. We don't know how long we are going to have Ambassador Mwamba because the network is pretty tough in Addis Ababa, as you would expect, but it is what it is. Your Excellency, welcome to TV Bakwetu.
Thank you very much, Elias, and thank you to your community of listeners and viewers, and then to your panel. I do follow your program. I apologize, the network is quite bad, and during this period of security concern, it has some restrictions, but I hope that we can have the conversation.
Right, thank you. And I'm joined here by my colleague, Jerome Kanika.
Good evening, the viewers, and good evening, Council Mushandi. Good evening, Your Excellence. It's my pleasure to be on the same platform with you and ask you one or two few questions concerning the huge thing that the UPND administration of President Hakainde Hichilema has done to the people of Zambia. How is Ethiopia, Your Excellence?
Well, thank you very much. Let me just start with a brief history about Ethiopia. It's one of the oldest civilizations in the world. It has an unbroken civilization for the last 3,500 years. It's mentioned in the Bible. Remember the story of Queen Sheba, who visited King Solomon, and she stayed there for 3 years. She was a queen of a large empire here that stretched from Ethiopia to Yemen, far to near Sudan and Egypt. In recent history, Ethiopia has never been colonized by the religious colonization that took place when, between 10th century to 18th century, when Arab raiders were conquering all lands in North Africa and the Sahel region, including West Africa. Ethiopia remained an Orthodox Christian, and it has been since 4th century. There were attempts to colonize it recently by Britain, Spain, and the last one, Italy. They still resisted. So speaking about Ethiopia, you have to be extremely careful because they are a proud people, proud of their history, proud of their heritage, and knowing themselves who they really are. And coming to the recent issue, Ethiopia has been on a democratization path. 30 years ago, the TPLF, together with forces from Eritrea, overcame a dictatorship that was entrenched, that was led by President Mengistu. So he was ousted, and remember, he went into exile in Zimbabwe. And the TPLF have been ruling this country since 1991 and until 2018, when this current Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, was elected. Now, he was a reformist Prime Minister He opened up the democratic space. He released all political prisoners. Over 40,000 political prisoners were released. He embarked on regional peace in Sudan. He ended a 10-long-year war in Eritrea. And the international community was so impressed with him that, remember, he was awarded in 2019 with a Nobel laureate. And many people feared that the prize came quite too early, because it's usually given to people that have gone into retirement or have since left office. But it was given within the year of being in office. What does that show? It shows that his reforms and his agenda were far-reaching, that they affected, the world recognized his efforts. In fact, pledged a lot of investment to Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing economy in Africa. It has been posting a growth of 10% for the last 10 years consistently. So it has a population of 110 million people. But what are its weaknesses? It is a federal republic. It is composed of 10 individual states that form the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. And these states are founded on ethnic lines. So, for example, the Tigrayan that are at war with the government of Ethiopia, if they are on state, their own state, the Oromia, the Somali. So you have 10 of those states that then make up the federal state of Ethiopia. Last year, we had the Tigrayan. Remember, they were in office for 30 years until this prime minister came. He's a reformist prime minister, and I think maybe the reforms were too quick for them, and a war broke out in Tigray, which is the northernmost part of this country. It's over 1,200 kilometers away from Addis Ababa. The war has been going on for the last 1 year. The anniversary of that war was coming on Saturday, which was the 4th of November. So preceding that anniversary, we saw that the war quickly escalated from being confined to the province, to the state of Tigray. It now began to move into other states headed to Addis Ababa. You must have seen from last week international media reports on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, and others reporting that Addis Ababa was at the verge of collapse because the Tigrayan forces were marching from Tigray, Mekelle, where they are, right up to about 400 kilometers away from Addis Ababa. The security situation prompted all of us who live in Addis Ababa. It's one of the biggest diplomatic capital. Remember, we are accredited to the African Union. We are accredited to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and of course then accredited to Ethiopia. So there is a huge diplomatic presence of international organizations and people that work for both the African Union and UNECA, as we call it. So the United States of America were the first one to issue an alert and requested that its citizens leave Ethiopia immediately, and those that wish to travel should not travel. International organizations and Western entities and embassies did similar things. We, as our embassy, took precautions. I sought authority from Lusaka that we could evacuate our female diplomats and children. And then I issued an advisory to the Zambian community. We have an association of Zambians in Ethiopia, that they could leave voluntarily. His Excellency, the President Hakainde Hichilema, was in Glasgow attending, the conference of parties, COP26, the UN conference on climate change. And I was briefing the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Stan Kakubu, and he told me that the President actually in his diplomatic engagement was extremely concerned about what was happening here in Ethiopia. There are some things that people might not know about this president. As soon as he came into office, he's commented many statements about Africa. I think his first public statement about Africa was when he commented about the coup d'etat that occurred in Guinea-Conakry, and he commended the work that ECOWAS was doing, and he called for a return to constitutionalism in Guinea-Conakry. He's spoken about the COVID situation and what the African Union is doing in securing vaccines and what we are calling the apartheid vaccine. So it's been very Pan-African in nature from the day he came into office. And so it's no strange that he was preoccupied and seized with the matter of the escalating conflict here in Addis Ababa. And we had made some recommendations, and we were working with Lusaka. And when the president was in London, we were informed that he had given directives that we should evacuate the Zambian nationals that are all here. And that was on Saturday, Friday, transitioning to Saturday. And we began the work. So we engaged the Association of Zambians here. We did a head count. We already had a register, but we did a fresh head count and began to persuade them that the directives had now moved from voluntary to a mandate. And His Excellency was now pioneering this course himself. And I would like to thank, the Zambian community. They responded positively. They were all very concerned about what was happening here in Addis Ababa. And today, the big one occurred, is that we repatriated 31 Zambian nationals to Zambia. Remember, this has been preceded by the ones we were doing last week, where the embassy repatriated its female diplomats and children, and the community, some returned to Zambia voluntarily. And so today was a big one, and our nationals were happy to be evacuated. They are very, very, very grateful to President Hakainde Hichilema and to the government. For you that live in the diaspora, like my brother Elias Moisha.
Yes, Ambassador. We need to clarify something here because our media, of course, we underwent the campaign period, and our media, Steve Bakwetu, was very instrumental in campaigning for the president. And so there is some confusion from our listeners. Now, I just need to put up this clear message. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba has been recalled back from Ethiopia, that he remains our substantive ambassador in Ethiopia. And this matter has got to do with the safety of our people, of our citizens. There is time for politics, and I'm extremely partisan. You know me, I'm extremely partisan. This has got to do with our people, the safety of little Zambian boys and little Zambian girls in Addis Ababa. That's why we have him on this show. And so we do a lot of politics. I do a lot of politics. This is not about that. This is about every Zambian. And as long as Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba remains our representative in Addis Ababa, we have a duty to have him here on this show so that he can tell us how our people can be safe in Ethiopia. And our president, in fact, has worked with him. The plan that the president came up with to rescue our citizens from Addis Ababa was done in conjunction with this office. And for that, we must have Ambassador Mwamba so that he can tell us. Ambassador, are you safe?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Elias. I was going to come to the issue relating to the people in the diaspora. You know, I served in South Africa, now in Ethiopia. The people in the diaspora feel government is far from them. They feel the embassies are not connected to their people. In fact, there is gulf, there is a huge gap between the Zambian community and Zambian embassies. So what I learned in my time in South Africa was to bring the two communities together, because we are Zambians. That's what marks us first, and
Right.
I've tried to do the same here. So to see Zambians evacuated, that they are in conflict, is a huge. The people at home might not understand it, but it's something very big to the communities in the diaspora. That their government has moved to rescue them to a situation that threatens their lives. And themselves and their families have been evacuated to Zambia is a huge undertaking. And you can't take that away, from the decision of His Excellency, the President.
Yes, and that's why, of course, I don't want us to go into politics, Honorable Mwamba, and that's why we endorsed, and we are very proud of the people of Zambia who elected this president, because he does care for the citizens, no matter where they are. And so for the first time in a very long time, we have a president who goes into vaya ku Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, ero nomba basenda bena Zambia okuba ninikendeke to rescue them from impending instability and potential war. And so thank you, Honorable Mwamba, and we thank our Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and the President for this job well done. Nombaganshi for mu diaspora. Tatwakula umfokona kalimo we are neglected. Bantu nakunoku in Canada ngafia pena. I think President Haga in the hichema bala ntuminende ke ise insende. Bala isa insenda, which is pretty amazing. Ambassador, do we still have you?
Let me attend to something I see on social media very frequently. What is Emmanuel Mwamba still doing in Addis Ababa? Nisha Lechta, why isn't he back? He was recalled with immediate effect. What is he still doing in Addis Ababa? So people need to understand that when a recall has been made, Elias, there's a process. In fact, the foreign regulations give up to 3 months. At the level of ambassador, it's even more complicated, because I have to report to my superiors, who are, the head of state here, and inform them that I've been recalled. I have to report to my other superiors, to institutions where I'm accredited. Further, the government of the Republic of Zambia has to meet certain obligations, such as my repatriation from my station and return me home. It's an expensive venture, and usually our people do not understand. They think that when you are called today as a diplomat, you ought to be at home the following day. So when they see you working 2 months later, and in this case, there's been a change of government. So there are political feelings, and they wonder, what is he still doing there? So I thought I could explain that small elephant in the room, because it gets people agitated, and they ask. We have a lot of civics to teach our people.
Anyway, that's not why we brought you here, Your Excellency. We brought you here to make sure that you are safe, our citizens are safe, and to commend His Excellency the President for a very well executed plan to rescue our citizens, and to commend you as well for the job well done. Thank you that you are safe. And so, if there are still more Zambians in Ethiopia, what should they do?
Thank you very much, Elias, and thank you to your audience. I'm grateful. God bless you.
Okay, I think there is a network issue in Addis Ababa, but we've gotten the substance of what you told us. We thank you. What I was asking was, what can Zambians in Ethiopia, peradventure somebody's missed, what can they do immediately now? Okay, I think we have a network issue with them.
Yeah, before I leave, Addis is calm. The threat of instability has not reached it yet. It's normal. Security is tight.
Right.
Internet, as you have seen, is restricted. But we are safe. We are okay so far. But issues of security, you can never be sure. It is the reason why we commend the Zambian government for taking a preemptive action, an action to secure its citizens to a place of safety, an action that doesn't wait for matters to deteriorate or for lives to be lost before you can act. So it is safe for now. I can speak to you. I have power, I have electricity, traffic is flowing normally. So that is the level of how okay Addis Ababa is at the moment. But it's a security matter. As you have seen, the various preemptive actions taken by others. We are not security experts. All we can do is to secure our nationals, ensure that Zambian is safe, whether they're back home or they're in the diaspora.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, Your Excellency. All the best, and hope to see you in Lusaka once you land and all the accreditations are done.
Thank you very much. I'll follow you on Facebook. I'll follow the program on Facebook. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bless you too.
Dr. Barbara Chanda, toileta
Yes.
ambassador fiapena ama comments ayo ndemona. What's wrong?
So I'm just checking and seeing the comments. We are
Avena Zambia ku Ethiopia.
We are a people.
Kuli inkondo ku Ethiopia. Kuli inkondo ku Ethiopia. Elo, His Excellency the President of our Republic, bahaga inde hichidema, vachitumendeke. Iya kuyaleta abena Zambia, that are stranded in Ethiopia. Indeke ya chitaland lelo, but His Excellency the President. No, tulefwa ya komuntu, ulikuwa Addis Ababa, atuwewe vya chitika. Ewa Emmanuel Mwamba batulondolwela.
Yo, abantu nimbina abafulwa pantu, kwachi wako message pa Facebook ukuthi lati aba bombele ntito yonse ni ba Mwamba instead of ubuteko bwa Zambia. Mwalisho fyama Facebook na yeno mulandu ya chita ya bomba. So Ethiopia late tususumilisha na ipo kwene kwa lela ndoko bakwena. Nomba na ababomba pantu eba leta connect eba di mu office nomba kwa kwene ntito teba bombele ni bakateka bachalo babali.
Yeah, you see, okay, that's like a lot of things that need to be done to most of our people here in Zambia. One, that job, you see, there's too much propaganda. That job cannot be done by the ambassador alone. No, it is something the president has sanctioned, and the ambassador being there is still.
That's exactly what he has said. That's exactly what Ambassador Mwamba said.
Yes, it is sanctioned by the president and is still the civil servant and is still getting paid our taxes money. So why not have him come and discuss? This is why the issue we are having with some of the offices. Yes, we have advocated for changes in most of the offices, but the appointing authority, it has not yet made changes. Who are we to deny people from featuring and interviewing them on the things that we think they can explain to the Zambian people what's happening? In this situation, we are talking of trying to rescue the Zambian people who are stranded. This has never happened before. And now it has happened.
You see, sometimes he was appointed by the PF. What he has said is Ukumfwa, because he can't just go ballistic against the PF, he's still a civil servant. But Mukumfwa to compare the two. Basango kwebati ububuteko bweso. It's excellent. because it's concerned about the welfare of Zambians. This is what President Hakainde Hichilema has brought in our country. Ukusakamana kulinkondo ku Ethiopia batuma kwendeke ba Hichilema. Tabashitire ndeke for his own comfort. Mwama nobo pusano bulipo. Nomba twaingira ma politics. Bayabambi bali ishitire ndeke pako batu bale enda nama none. Uyo alipoenda achitumendeke to go and rescue our people. And for that we are very grateful. Extremely grateful, because every life of a Zambian matters. Zambia, it matters. So it's in that spirit that we brought him, and we have no apology to make about bringing Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, who remains our servant. Shama taxpayers. And his allegiance is to President Hakainde Hichilema. Which the rescue avena Zambia. Number if to full way. Every Zambian matters.
Nawe nabafuyile bakitako publicize wangu ati fyefo tulechita abantu besu bala mku bafuilisha. Instead that ayaye nyama propagandist na mponga mubeta tishani. Eva sanduka ba loudspeaker. Kwati ni la babuvuzela. So before uteko tabula kita announce vuvuzela ya kita announce, so muneni ba Mwamba ba fulisha abantu ba Mwamba ba bombe nchito ya kupeshamani. Na kweba UPND tukwetu ndoka vuvuzela.
Dr. Chanda, on this one, first of all, we saw it on the internet, and the people who broke the news were just a person like, if I'm not mistaken, should be Brenda something on social media. And she mentioned, she was comparing to say the president doesn't go to the international trips using private jet, but uses the commercial jet. And he has saved enough money to pick the people from Ethiopia and all that. Then from there, the president also 2 hours later, 2 hours ago, the president also said something concerning the same thing. Now there is all this kind of propaganda. The Vuvuzela now, they want to pick that and they say, who's in Ethiopia? There's Emmanuel Mwamba. And now they want to bring Emmanuel Mwamba in the issues of filing points. You see, even himself, he has mentioned to say, look, this thing has never happened before. And it's like, we are better now. Even him has recognized that thing to say, we are in self-funds. You see, he said, this you just don't know. Most Zambians, and we need to teach them enough civics, but there is a lot of good kudos that the country has received for doing such kind of an act. So if the ambassador said so, he would have come out himself and start saying our president himself, but he didn't do that. So for me, I feel and I think, in as much as we may differ in one way or another, yeah, I'm receiving an echo somewhere, I don't know.
Of course he wouldn't, but what I'm saying is, if in tunga fiawa ama kuyawale pela ama sweet ama chocolates, oko mufuile mwa emya nomba ama baka, mwatita announce mwalanda, instead ya abantu belenga kwati, terms and conditions, yotuma small letter to isa tulemba ma lawyer ba munshanga balemba wabelenga wale mnakwati na bakusta protect, waisa sanga punch kuliati, just so you're aware, you'll be paying 1,000 pounds per hour. Those small letters, they should be bold. When we are doing good things like they've gone to save this is unprecedented. It's never happened before. That's why it should be big news. It should be in bold letters. Somebody, papa, anybody, but help. Papa, papa, kuna reporter kalilanda. Oh, that we sana, tushana, number three kwele, ndeke number vale longa, number vale kwela masuke. The way the British people dramatize things. First
of all, this was not an open operation. It's not an open operation, right? Because you can't do this. It's not an open operation. And so our system has worked. And the most important thing is this has happened because of President Hakainde Hichilema. If you heard what Ambassador Mwamba is saying, rescue.
Hello, Mr.
So nomba tufuire okutasha kateka. Pamulimo achta. Very important. The second thing is, because ambassador udiko we win. Nomba kanchita turande no you ambassador, turande nabani. If you watch Mulamu Ipusha, are you safe? Are our peoples, Abantu Besu, are they safe? The Zambians. At the end of the day, that's what we are. Zambians in Ethiopia, are they safe? He has assured us. But if we know, the president executed a wonderful rescue plan, and we are extremely proud of that. And we are extremely proud of that. And our country continues to be strong. And our president continues to work very hard. If shachitikapo in the history of our country, okweba tikateka atumendeke mwemo indeke, airplane indeke, not a helicopter or motoka ka Corolla, no, nango ka Noah, no. He sends a plane to rescue Abena Zambia quadis. Shokanshi Mobonseba diaspora. You need to be happy. Imaba Mkelaba Yoko Finland Mwamba, Kateka Kamitumine Ndeke to rescue you. If Abasungu Wambo Kupeni Efinto, to get some send. And for that
actually, Bamusha, I was not surprised to see the ambassador coming on the show. Actually, I was almost about to put thumbs up because we need people from the PF as well to come and we ask them questions if we are to deal with politics. However, today, His Excellency, the ambassador's appearance was not just for political issues. He came here specifically to update or to give us the information about the safety of the operation that was given. So to us, it's a plus. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed to see some of my colleagues in the background or the comments that were so negative. I just want to tell my brothers and sisters to say, hold your roll. We know what we are doing, and Mr. Musha would not risk his Wakwetu Pro TV to bring people like Chishimba Kambwiri, and so we know the type of people that we can bring, that we can get some information for. As long as they're still under the government, we still pay them our taxpayers' money. They are answerable to us. We can question them at any time, at any given time, without anybody questioning us. And it's true, we should not be apologetic to that. I'm sorry, we just have to do that.
I think we need also to bring someone like Chimbakambiri so that we come and ask him to say that how you are lunatic, is it not so? Because every day I'm gonna take it up the PF, the lunatic. But we cannot
bring somebody who is mentally. We cannot bring someone who has challenged himself, who has actually come out in public that I'm or I'm a lunatic. So why should we bother even talk about such a person or bring him to this humble forum? No, we will keep on just until he repents, he comes back to his senses and says, I'm sorry, and he means it. If he gets some rehabilitation, then we are happy for him. But if he doesn't,
then
we'll continue.
Yes, I am here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on Wakwetu TV. Musha and team, you guys, Dr. Musha, are just fantastic and you're doing a great job. I've worked very closely with President Hakainde Hichilema for the last 13 years in the background, communication and media. And I think that our people need to understand processes of evacuation in times of emergencies, and we've not done a good job to educate our people. And I think that's why there's been this little misunderstanding on this wonderful platform today or tonight or this morning. And I think that the education needed to come from government communication circles. The Ministry of Information as well needed to educate our people today and indicate that there'll be an evacuation. Before any of us could have read what we read on Facebook, where somebody just says, look, our good president has saved money because I think Jerome had said that before already, saved money because he didn't fly in the private jet and he used commercial, and that money has been used to evacuate our people. And then I think that secondly, the party also, the UPND, should have jumped onto the challenge. Even after seeing or reading what was on Facebook, they should have gone into finding out more, even from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ministry of Foreign Affairs have a PR and communication department. They could have called them and said, what's happening? And quickly on the UPND forums, all that information would have been given. So this misunderstanding really is coming from what we're seeing sometimes so often, where Zambians are becoming very reactive. Yes, we are also upset. We went through a lot. Some of us had businesses closed down for the last 10 years. But then we need to start educating one another, and especially that we have this freedom of communication and information now. And I think we need to integrate the different sectors of communication and information dissemination in our governance systems, the party included, the ministries included, and even, State House as well. I think we need to see that. I don't want to talk about Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba or even mention his name, but I have no choice. And what I want to say is that he is the only focal point that our president and the Minister of Foreign Affairs had in Ethiopia to ensure that our people are evacuated safely. There was nothing else they could do. When an ambassador is recalled, sometimes it takes 4 months or 5, up to 6. There have been instances in the past before they can come back. And there are so many issues. It could be finances. It could be they have tasks they need to hand over properly. It could be that their replacement is not yet known. So Minister of Foreign Affairs tells them to hang on until a certain time. And then after that, they, officially hand over and come back to their country of origin or, back home. So I think that really Bakwetu has done a good job to extensively exhaust this issue. But at the same time, we all need to bear in mind that our people need a lot of education. The University of Zambia students, as you're aware, today held a demonstration. When you look at the communication that came out of there, on one platform on Facebook, someone posted about how crazy the student union's president was by saying, so-and-so is fired, the ZESCO MD is fired, the CEO for whatever organization is fired. And when you look at that, these are young people that are very frustrated right now, and they're not given information. Who switches off power every Friday until Sunday at a highest institution of learning? Some of those students are in final year and about to write exams.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Much
Thank
appreciated.
Thank you.
The concerns, of course, their concerns. We need to clarify something about TV Bakwetu. TV Bakwetu, even when we were campaigning for the UPND, okay, we need to go back a little bit. Even at the height of campaigning for President Hakainde Hichilema, because we played a role in that as TV Bakwetu. We never say that we were UPND. We never say that TV Bakwetu is a tool of the UPND. TV Bakwetu is a tool that brings and communicates to our people what we think is right for our country. We have total allegiance to the people of Zambia. That is what necessitated this program. And so, but we are also very clear that we support the UPND party and President Hakainde Hichilema. We have never hidden that. And in fact, one of the TV stations we were supposed to be coming live on satellite has fired us because my friends are surprised, because they said we are too political, we are too supportive of the UPND, and we have no apology for that. But we are still not UPND. We need to make those distinctions. And so we need to encourage the UPND to be good at communication, to reframe the positive things that are happening in the country within the UPND lenses, within the political lenses. We can't do that for them, you know. We have done what we could, but we can't do that. We can't frame everything on behalf of the UPND. They've got to do a better job. So they were doing a very good job before campaigning, before elections. After this election, let them take over and do an excellent job. This evacuation debacle should not have been a debacle. It should have been, they should have been on top of the news and drive the narrative, you know? And so nomba bantu abantu bamo bafulwa bayisa mukutufukirira here on TV bakwetu, because we bring Emmanuel. Of course, what else can we do? Our president has done an excellent job in Ethiopia. Okuleta Zambians from Ethiopia, okuvaleta, okuya first of all, bali akolonga ni kabena Zambia. Elo nokuba nini kendeke, not Noah, okuba nini kendeke abena Zambia, nokuvaleta into Zambia. That's amazing. And for that, we commend our president, and we are not going to miscommunicate that. That is the goal of our communication today. And we give kudos to the president. And of course, because the ambassador is still in Addis Ababa, we wanted to speak to him. First of all, is he safe? Him. Secondly, are our people in Zambians safe? Thirdly, how can they get in touch? Just peradventure, kuliko mwina Zambia umo uo ushiripo. How can they get in touch with the embassy so that they too can be rescued? This is very important information for our people in Zambia. Very important information. So in UPND, sometimes nga chaptira chatu kalipa tulamishova. Ojeda tumishova. Right here. Tulamiebera poko ba Jeff Mwamba koko chitefita fiwa MF. So alemi ba name ba UPND koseni po, you know, in story and who take over and take any konseka story aka weme kachiteni point wino nombo wafe wako batirimbi mulero le ramachito baika loku tushoba ati nifwe tulero le ramachito tulero le rashana machito ni mwe mulero le ramachito nomba mukolo le ramachito tamule bombo mulimo iyo what kind of media team is that? Yakoba tifintu kateka abombo mulimo kwa ati abombo mulimo kateka kwa Addis Ababa. It's quiet. UPND ni vanga pano. Don't Oscar, msheni mwe ba UPND.
Vamusha leni.
Here.
Vamusha.
UPND.
Vamusha inenebo UPND, but on this one you cannot blame our media team. Actually is trying by all means actually to communicate all what is needed to be communicated. And as you know very well, the transition period is still on. It has not yet finished. You say there are a lot of transition that is happening. Yes, it happened at State House, still happening. There is also issues of in ministries and other places where transition are happening. So the media is all over and they are receiving all the news according, and the media, the one who are also updating the page for the president. So for me, if we try to blame the media because a certain PF aligned a page use the propaganda, I think then you will be, I think, blaming very innocent people in our media team there. You see, if you see very well, all the communication was done according, but we cannot rely our communication only to one propaganda media that said something about the evacuation, which is not true. Already the union president for Unzasu, some propaganda media, some propaganda people have photoshopped his face and put on someone and say, no, look, he's exposed, this man is Kamba and whatever, which is not true. You can even know. You can even see the photo to say, look, this photo, someone has 2 chins. How can someone wakwata karifulefu akana kambi kare monekera munshi? Ba munsha. Kwa bantu wakwata turefulefu tubiri. So these are some of the things that are happening.
Once I go to video at Namfola my glass. So number very mishoba in an full and for my glass.
Yeah, all I know is in full and my glass and the continent Jerome.
Please?
Yeah, him. Yeah, sure. Let me mute myself.
Vampombo, Alain, don't know.
I think I am quite Munishani Monsi Mwawombeni and good evening, TV family.
Jerome, I think this is for you. You know, let's not give excuses. If something has happened and we've done something wrong, let's take it. If UPND were you know, they knew about the evacuation, whatever, we didn't really need them to give us all the details, right? All we needed was them to put our president Pachambas and say, listen, this is what our president has done. Our people are this kind of stuff. Jerome, let's not go there. It's just going to be annoying. Some of us really and truly, brother. Let's keep it down. And, you know, Amusha, if it's okay for me, I can go ahead and make my own contribution. You know, the one thing that I would like to say to our president, this is a song that he likes singing, and I'll sing it for him. Wela chichi, wela chichi, wela chichi chadikwaha. And he knows what I mean by that. He knows the song. He's seen it several times. President Mwafwako. Thank you so much.
No, please. Come back, Beauty. Wela Chichi. Oh, vaya.
Beauty, where are you?
Wela Chichi. Wechikuwaha.
Okay, I'm here.
Wela
Chichi. I think, and Dr. Barbara, you should help me. I think you know the song. Don't even pretend you are Lunda. She pretends to be a Chanda. She's Lunda. Let's go for it.
I'm a secret. Whenever Beauty. You need to keep secrets.
Wela Chichi.
Okay. Wela chichi, wela chichi, wela chichi, wela chichi, wela chichi, wela chichi chadikuwaha, wela chichi chadikuwaha. He knows. He sings this all the time.
Chadikuwaha.
You know.
Chadikuwaha.
Yeah. Wela chichi chadikuwaha.
I wonder why some people do not subscribe to TV Vakwet. Here on TV Vakwet, ne chilunda chikalunda turamisambirish. Wela chichi chadi huaha. And you're you've not even subscribed. And you've not even subscribed. People, please, everybody, hit that subscription button and subscribe to TV Vakwet. Otherwise, to alafu itana ife to alale koko mizambirishe chikalunda. Mwakula sambira fechiwe mbacheka ne chaush. Terrible.
So, Musha, sorry, before you go any further, there was one other thing that I forgot. Ambassador Mwamba, I think I must have missed a lot of what he said. What was all that about Queen Sheba? Why did we need to know about Queen Sheba now?
No,
because I think we already know that.
No, he was giving a little bit of background about Ethiopia so that to understand, because it's very complex to understand what's going on in Ethiopia. It's complicated. I've met Ethiopians Ethiopians tell me that. So it's a whole. There's a lot of myths that we attach to Ethiopia. So he wanted to give that a little bit of background. I think we'll bring Ethiopians No, but it's not like one person. Ethiopia is complicated with these tribal countries. If you watch that, you know, for Zambia, we think that we are tribalist. Some countries, like Ethiopia, every province, nika tribe. So they could stay interfere. I think every military prime minister, but what are if I could interfere and everything else? Talk about one Ethiopia, one nation, one Zambia, one nation. No, ko chindika federalism. So kan shama Tigrayans ufulowa bachindika, ama Oromians ufulowa bachindika. Nomba iwenga waero wa kupasa ati shani. They are not going to be very happy with you. Anyway. That's something else. Don Oscar.
Good evening, everyone. In a nutshell, first you could tampira pokueva wa Jerome. Jerome, I think mwachitako justify ba media ba UPND. Of course, this time number quality government. So if in terms of information, to alalanda pali wa Minister of Information as well. In an island, I respect Mayo, our Minister of Information, but I think she's doing a job on training. We can even notice it. Let's help her. She's a nice lady. She's a nice lady, very beautiful. But we are dealing with very aggressive opposition gentlemen. I don't know, maybe they are still in government because Nanomba Kateka Fiance is doing a lot, is managing, but propaganda it's very delicate and so deceiving. Propaganda PF is very deceiving. So our Minister of Information, I think, in such an extraordinary event, she would have said something. She was going to defend. But Mwarishwanga watch infiltrate more information. They can send a wrong message to the Zambians. Justify every now and then they justify what he wanted to do, what he did. Like I think is it Beauty? Also Dr. Barbara, I think they said, you know, such an extraordinary event, we were not going to put the Zambians in danger if the government, if our president would have even informed before. We have intention to go and help our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia. It was not going to be a very dangerous situation. But also on the other side, Nalanda no Kovati, I think kutukwawana ka delegates Kakovati, Washako ka secrecy filia, it is okay. I cannot go against because Nakonoko in Italy, we have cases of Zambia who are in difficulties. Yes.
This was a secret operation. There is no big deal there. The only issue was when the thing actually happens. How do we let our people know to stay safe? I don't think there is anyone who is saying that they should have reviewed ahead of time. You know, it's not a complicated secret, but what we expected was immediately after the landing, there should have been more news to inform our people. We've tried to speak to the horse's mouth himself, Ambassador Mwamba, because we can't speak to Bakateka because Bakateka is taking care of hundreds and 1,000 things. So we went and found the focal person in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. 1, he's in Ethiopia. 2, he's our civil servant. 3, he's working for President Hichilema. 4, he was part of the plan that rescued our people from Addis Ababa. 5, we have him, so he's available. You know, he likes media. He's a very good media guy, and so we brought him.
No, I think our idea, you know, I think it is quite good. I want to, if I want to, walanga kwa tunabafu wako panono, nifi kwebati, wale kabila sana, sanity ise, mubale sta govern, mubuteko wanyu. Abena Zambia, they are fighting for that. They are pushing the president, please remove our bantu. Yeah, so there is a doubt.
Oscar, I think let me just enter just a minute. You see, in as much as yes, the president needs to make all the changes, but the president is making the changes and whatever which is happening in a very good and systematic and methodical way, the way he represents himself. So what is needed is we should not try to frustrate the appointing authority on what the appointing authority is doing. Why can't we exercise and have patience? And moreover, where you mentioned about the Minister for Information, you see, she is doing all what she can do, but the issue which is there is she cannot do magic as her own. So what is needed is for everyone, all of us.
No. I don't expect this conversation to be hijacked by partisan conversations. I know. No, we do. No. This is our government. The UPND government is our government. No doubt. That's why because Nareta Emmanuel Mwamba, our ambassador in Ethiopia, Mwamba could doubt my allegiance to the UPND. You're pretty despicable. That's pretty bad. Uyuna chisungu twachitire campaign ewo mulera ndati temuntu wesu.
You have to understand that Zambians, they are really hurting from the experiences they've had, and bad kwatabantu attach that pain to Mwamba. He's a very wonderful person. He's still a diplomat, but in the eyes of certain people, he was the real Vuvuzela who literally left Ethiopia, went to Zambia Mkushita campaign. So in the eyes of some people, they are still hurting.
Our Zambians are in Ethiopia. Elo ambassador ni Mwamba. So number tulefoya okutashaba kateka for rescuing those people. No for how the other Zambians are in Ethiopia. Ngatwachia ndana bani.
Abena Zambia tubatemwa. Limbi mwaita nangu feni ni Antoni aisala ndati bati tateka bati tashia nipa kufumia abantu mu Ethiopia, because abantu ba Zambia right now, I'm just reading my comments and my own perspective. People are very hurt. People are very, let me give you an example. I'll give you an extreme example so that you understand where I'm coming from. Imagine ubuteko bwakwa Hitler. Abantu baisa fumia baite kufuma kuri Hitler. Nomba uliwa alimuli navene Hitler. Aita mkututa defend of you abantu bafuminemo. That's just an extreme example. That's why Zambians think. It may sound different, but people are really angry. They are.
The anger of the people of Zambia is our anger. We are angry. And that is our role as TV Bakwetu. It is to bring our people along to a place of healing. We are angry. However, there was a rescue here of our people from Ethiopia. Nokubaleta in Zambia. And that is what we needed to talk about today.
Problem Mwamba never how is Ethiopia blah 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 blah. So he a bit undermined the whole process.
Awe badoko hapo pena hapo. Awe.
Okay, that's what I understand. At how are things where you are. Okay. Website. How are things where you are? What did he say?
Yeah, look, he was
asking. He said, I've got electricity, and the Ababa is fantastic. Everything is okay, but in the outskirts, there's a problem.
Look, the reason he said that is pertaining to the matter which we are reading on the internet, the issues of war and war, whatever thing which are reading there. So the question was, how is the situation there? You are in Lusaka, things are happening in Indora. How is your situation where you are in Lusaka? You say, no, Lusaka is fine, and at least, one or two things, but things are happening 2,000 kilometers from wherever you're supposed to be.
That's what Zambians, but still evacuate 2,000 kilometers.
No wonder you are supposed to ask the ambassador that question. No wonder he was here to answer such kind of questions, but the protest started.
Ukulingana na news in my Facebook, abantu bali mu Addis Ababa ubaletere ku Zambia. So tababaletere for no reason. Something is going on in Addis Ababa. Other countries have done that as well to remove them from Addis Ababa to go to their own countries. So it is not that something has already happened, but there's a perceived problem that could happen, which is why we've gone there to, to save our own people. But Mwamba ni shitwafisa shabatisa that mulifikishani. Batisa skachan. Or in even me I've got a bit of a bias.
Mo amashan amafota nasamba mo you fought fine.
What Mwamba was trying to refer to, doctor. Let me come.
Okay, let me pause myself.
Mwamba was trying. Munsha had asked him a personal, deliberate question to himself if he was safe as Mwamba. And Mwamba, at the time when he was answering, he was in a room. I don't know whether it is his house where there was electricity. He was talking about his particular at that particular time, but not as a whole thing. Otherwise, we should not even dwell so much talk about Mwamba right now, because we know the man behind all this was His Excellency. Mwamba is still under, he still operates under orders from the, even though he knows that he's on his way. He was trying to explain to you, the Zambian people, or to us, that there's a procedure before you terminate somebody's contract. There are procedures. He has to go, and there's that 3 months period, and the government has been in office for how many months? Less than 3 months. So he's still within that his expiration of period of his contract. Definitely, he knows even himself. If we were given a chance to ask him, my question, what was going to be directed to him was, why did you have to wait for Abakahinde Ichilema to tell you that, or to put you on notice? Why didn't you, upon realizing that your party lost, why didn't you tender in your resignation letter immediately, so that the government will just maybe repatriate you or just leave you where you are? Because you were, to us, you were a liability. So those are questions that we ought to have asked him, but that was not an issue which we want. What he came for. He came to this to ask to answer to specific questions, a situation that was going on, that is going on in Ethiopia. So that being said, he has answered it. So if there's anyone, because we know our PF, you try to mix this and come up with your own narrative, whatever. We don't care. The issue is President Hakainde Hichilema has rescued the Zambian-based Ethiopians that were based in Ethiopia back home. He sent them a plane, and they are now safe home. So that is what is important here. So Mwamba he was here in his capacity as an ambassador, not as a PF ambassador, but he's on his way. He knows that he's on his way as well. He's on his way. Kwasha, how many months before you leave office, Ragam? Your Excellency, I can see that you are here.
No, I've got nothing. I needed to ask that because that's exactly what people are saying. Me personally, I've got nothing against Mwamba, or he's even here. I've got nothing against him. I think I've even spoken to him before.
We have so much against him. We have so much against him.
But the people what they are saying,
Dr.
Let me ask what I wanted to ask him.
No, we need, yeah, okay.
Okay, let me pause myself, finish.
No, we do have political differences with Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba and the political party he has supported over years. That is reality. That is true. He as well may have had political differences with me. We don't see eye to eye on our politics. In fact, when we were endorsing, we endorsed perhaps 2 different candidates. That is the truth. We can't run away from it. Our program today was to recognize what had happened with our administration, the UPND administration, which Ambassador Mwamba is part of, because he's an ambassador in Ethiopia. He's been recalled. He's been recalled. But even if he's been recalled, he still remains president. Somebody should mute yourself, Your Excellency. Yeah, but mute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm having difficulties to listen through the stream, but
no, let me say something and then I'll let you in. So we need to create differences. You know, it was a very bad government. There is no disputing that. Here we are talking of an ambassador in Ethiopia who was part as our servant, the servant of the people of Zambia, to execute our president's plan to bring back our people. And so we are asking, how are you doing? How are the Zambians doing? How can a Zambian get in touch with the embassy to have our people rescued? That was the reason why we brought him here today.
Can I just
we have political differences with. I'll come back to you, Dr. Barbara. Your Excellency, I give you 1 minute, please. I think that your network is bad.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you for allowing me back. I thought I could just speak to just two issues. Lucky I was following the debate. What my dear sister, Dr. Barbara, has raised, and some of the discussants and the comments. Let us make something very clear. We have a dire security situation in Ethiopia. It has dominated international media for the last 2 weeks. All major networks in America, in Europe, in China, in Africa have been dominated by the occurrences happening here in Ethiopia. No one should underestimate the gravity of the security situation here in Ethiopia. I think I should make that very clear. Number two, the decision to evacuate Zambians on a mandatory level can only be done by the head of state. An ambassador doesn't have powers to tell Zambian nationals that go back home. An ambassador doesn't have those powers. It's only the head of state that can make those decisions. I had, however, given the background to precautionary measures that the Zambian embassy here in Ethiopia had done, where we had directed that our female diplomats and children and the spouses to our diplomats should return home. Those are standards in emergencies. Secure the women, secure the children first. The mandate from His Excellency the President was clear: get all Zambians out of Ethiopia. Such a mandate can only come from the head of state. An ambassador can't close the embassy. The embassy remains open. Only the head of state can close the embassy.
And the
so I thought I could make those clear. Yeah. On issues of communication, like Dr. Elas Munsha stated, this was a diplomatic and security process. So you limit public communication. All of you know that I'm a Facebook person. I've been seized with this matter for the last 1.5 weeks. You have not seen me post any of the things that we have done, because you have to separate what you can say on Facebook and matters relating to your work. So this matter was a highly diplomatic issue and a highly security issue. You have to ensure that even when you do such an undertaking, that the relations between Zambia and Ethiopia, Zambia and the African Union, Zambia and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa is not lost. The relation, you do not need to be misunderstood. should the ministry have announced, I think from the time we began this process with Honorable Stanley Kakuo, he was very clear. This is a presidential assignment, and at one stage, either himself or the president will speak about it. Today, when we're evacuating, we had gone through the protocols yesterday, and today we said to discuss anything, to post anything, it should only occur after 13, 14 hours today, meaning our people will have arrived in Lusaka. The minister then will have held a press conference that will be carried live and thereby take ownership of the process and give government position on the matter. So we had an unfortunate incident when I think Jerome mentioned our dear sister Brenda. So when she was getting onto the plane from Addis Ababa, she posted on a page, or I think she shared on a page, which was quickly picked up by Laura Mitty. And you know, so it was preempted in the morning when they were jumping on the plane. And that was not the work of Foreign Affairs or the embassy. It was an individual who did that, and the matter went viral. But you saw as soon as the Zambians landed, Honorable Minister Kakuo was on hand, and the matter was live on ZNBC. That is how it was planned, although it had been preempted by the action of one person among the people who were evacuating. Right. So I thought I could make those matters very clear. Even I acted with a lot of restraint. I made my first posting after both Honorable Kakuo had posted and after Foreign Affairs had received, and the matter was on ZNBC. Before their landing, the president made a posting on his Facebook page. So in fact, for me, I was the last one to post. I think I was number 5 or number 6 after ZNBC, after the whole country knew about it. Because I knew this matter was delicate. And I knew government processes. And we've held this matter from last week.
Thank you, Honorable.
For the various reasons I've mentioned.
Your Excellency.
I can take a few questions. Thank you.
No.
All right, okay. Can I just ask one thing, just one thing? As somebody who knows the processes and what was going on, would it be right to say that there's been a security breach if somebody that you had briefed not to post anything, not to say anything, posted it? I'm just asking because the reality is if somebody tells you that don't post until you land, then something is going on. What if it changed after they had landed or before they had landed or something happened? I'm just asking an innocent question.
No, we are not going to turn this into security questions.
Okay, let me leave it.
Yeah, our major concern here was to have a clear communication and rescue.
Thank you. Can I answer? Can I answer my sister who was asked about security breach?
No.
No. Doc, can I answer?
No. I think any security breaches are going to be handled elsewhere. Here we commend our president for acting very decisively in rescuing our people from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and we're very grateful for that. This has been a presentation of TV Bakwetu. Thank you for joining us here today. We were paying tribute to an amazing gesture today of rescue of our citizens from Addis Ababa into Lusaka, something that has not happened in many years, and it is as a result of the good leadership that we have from the president. Thank you for joining us here today. Elias Musha, together with our TV Bakwetu crew. God bless you.